Nothing will grow your e-commerce brand sales faster and with less effort than exactly what I'm going to go through today. So my name is Will De Bruin. I co-founded an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother. We left our corporate jobs, started an e-commerce business from the kitchen bench, and that business has since gone on to do multiple 7 figures per year. And I also have helped over 250 e-commerce brands with their e-commerce business as well, helping them get to their first 10K, 20K, 50K, etc. per month. Now, what I'm going to talk through, it sounds really, really simple, but it's often overlooked by e-commerce brands, especially if you're doing less than that 10 to 20K per month, which is the majority of people that I help through my Ecom Blueprint and Up-Level Mastermind programs. So I'm actually talking about a price increase. Okay, so there's several reasons why people might increase prices, and often it's a reactive strategy that we use as people and brand owners where, okay, our manufacturers are putting up the prices for us, therefore we have to go and put up the prices for our customers. Now, this can happen semi-regularly. It might happen annually or even every second year, third year, etc. But I've worked with some brands who have never increased their prices, even after being in business for 3 to 4, 5 years sometimes. Okay, so this is a strategy that you can use to immediately unlock additional sales, obviously profit, and takes very little effort in doing so. Okay, so I'm going to talk through exactly what it is. So step one is to really understand what your prices are and where they can go. All right. So what I basically do and what I advise my clients to do is essentially look at what you're doing. Sure, you can look at what other competitors are doing if it's applicable to you and about where that baseline might be, just to see what you can actually charge. That's a consideration, but honestly not as big a consideration as what you might think, but it's good to know where other people are at. And you want to see at various increments what you could potentially go up to. So you want to get to a point where you're at right now. What does a 10% increase, 20% increase, even 30% increase look like right now? Now, this is going to seem a little bit scary, especially on that high end, like, people are going to be scared off. They're never going to buy, this is going to kill my business. It's just an exercise for you and for your eyes only. So I recommend that you go and have a look at what that looks like. Now, you can do this on every single product, or you can just do, your best seller, for example, just to get a really good idea of what it is. And when we look at a price increase, obviously it's business to business, but typically what I'd do is I'd actually do a price increase across all products on site. You can probably pick and choose some that may be less or more profitable, but honestly, the easiest way and best way that we've found to do it is just to do across all products, keep it really consistent. Okay, so the first thing is actually decide on what you're going to increase the prices to. And in my experience, you can actually increase further than what you think. Okay, now a little asterisk above this, and I want you to take this with you, is everything is reversible. If you go way too high, it might go like 30, 40%. I've seen people very successfully do that, so don't think that that's way too high. But if over the course of, and this is important too, a month, 2 months, 3 months, okay, a significant period of time with some significant data that's come through, if you see that your sales and revenue and profits are really struggling because of that price increase, directly because of that price increase, then things are reversible. So you are able to peg back your pricing, not to where they were, but maybe like halfway or 3/4 of the way. You can play around with your pricing as much as possible, as much as you need. The best thing about being in business and running our own business is there are no rules. We can price whatever we want. That's a free market trade. And so your market, based on their sales activity and feedback, will actually tell you what is an acceptable level through honestly just purchasing, spending money with you. Okay, so that's the first thing. We document it, we hypothesize, and then let's go a little bit to the scary level of what you can actually increase your prices to. The second step is to actually promote it. All right, so you set yourself a deadline. It might be to the end of the month, but I'd say give yourself a minimum of, say, 14 days, like 2 weeks, where you can actually run a campaign, like a price increase campaign, to the people in your networks. The most powerful platforms are going to be your email marketing platform, so your database, who you market to, your customers, etc. And then the second part is going to be your socials as well. Now, the other thing is we need to consider is what we do on site as well. So you actually do want to have a beat the price raise campaign, right? It sounds really simple, but time and time again, I see this massively increase sales. As I said right at the start of this is the fastest way, or one of the fastest ways, to increase the level of sales that you're making, your revenue, your profits, with the least amount of effort. You're literally just increasing the prices at the time that you say you're going to increase. And so what we want to do with the framing of this, and this is part 3 when it comes to the marketing, is we obviously want to plan out those 14 days, minimum. We want to communicate regularly via email, via our socials, hey guys, this is what we're doing, but we don't want to be apologetic about it. Okay, so whatever your reason might be, it might be genuinely that your costs have gone up. That's honestly pretty typical. People are passing on to us, we can pass them through. Okay, it could just be that you haven't increased them for a while, even though your costs haven't changed. Like, just be, honestly, like as I said, if you haven't done it for a few years, you may as well just do it. The third thing might be that you want to, you got a limited supply, for example, certain items, and that was the same thing with Karmic, where it was juice to order, and so we couldn't have that many orders in a day, so we just kind of increased the prices to curb the demand. It sounds kind of ironic, but you're making more price per unit. So you don't even need to have a reason. And the point I'm making with this is you can communicate it to your audience however you want, but do not be apologetic about it. All right. You don't want to be like, we're sorry, like we're our backs against the wall, we're unprofitable. No. Flip it on its head. And this is where the campaign can become really, really powerful and really important too. And so it's beat the price raise. Okay. You don't have to say anything while you're doing it. You just have to say when it's going up. You don't even have to say by how much. But the point is, hey, I'm telling you this because this is the opportunity you should buy. If you've been waiting, if you've been ready to stock up, this is now the time. We're never going to be cheaper than this. That's it. That's all you have to say. Now, this creates a big amount of urgency. And if you have limited stock or custom stock, there's obviously a scarcity consideration there, which is obviously advantageous. Every campaign should have a level of urgency and scarcity. And this is what you start to market. So the third point there is to have some positivity around it, right? We're increasing the prices because we're growing and we're doing more volumes and, maybe we're expanding the team. As I say, you don't actually have to justify it. You just have to be confident within yourself that this is going to work. Now, in my experience, basically 10 times out of 10, right? I've seen some people, I'd say 9 times out of 10, this works exceptionally well and never reverses from the price point that they actually set. I've had 1 or 2 occasions where people have gone a little bit far, the market didn't accept it and they reverted back, but they were still above where they obviously were. Okay, so you're welcome to, and I encourage you to push the envelope. Don't make assumptions about your market. They won't pay this. They won't do this. Often they do. And you should be pleasantly surprised when they do. So back yourself, back the quality of your product, back everything that you do, and put your prices up to a level that almost scares you with the idea in the back of your mind that everything is reversible. Okay, so don't even worry about that. Now, obviously, you market that all the way up. You do some great emails, you do some great socials, you're hammering it obviously closest to the time. And then the next day, you just flick the switch, right? You don't have to talk about it again. You don't have to say to anybody like, oh, yesterday the price of this and this was this. Let's call it, you might get a few questions, or you might get some resistance in that first couple of days, maybe even a week. But then the old customers either bought or they knew it was increasing, so they can't complain. And new people coming in through ads, etc., don't even know the difference about what the price was originally. Okay, so it's a good week of maybe discomfort. Okay, maybe giving someone a deal or something like that if they really want to ask you about it. But honestly, even that is a rare occasion. But the long and the short of this video and this advice is that price increases are very necessary for the survival of our business. It's not about gouging people and just taking as much money as we possibly can. It's actually about charging what's fair, positioning our business as a leader and a front runner and a premium product, if that's what you sell, right? Obviously, if you want to be the cheapest, then that's a different strategy entirely. But the majority of people that I work with, the clients in my community, are premium products and they want to be positioned as such. And so pricing is a big thing of that. You don't want a customer to ever turn around and say, oh, I thought this would be more expensive, right? Because immediately their perception of the product in terms of its quality and experience is going to be lower because they paid cheaper, even if it's literally exactly the same experience, exactly the same product. So that premium price has the reverse effect. I've paid more for this already. Immediately I'm having a more positive experience. This is a way better product than I thought, etc., etc. That is psychology, okay? So with price increases, it's necessary. You should look at your prices every 6 months. Even if you don't change every 6 months, you should be looking at it every 6 months and doing that analysis I talked about in step 1. You should increase your prices, I would say, every 12 months, right? Even if it's just a little, sometimes it's a lot. You can gauge yourself based on obviously market and all that sort of stuff. But our circumstances do change. Our profit margins do change. Our suppliers do change pretty much on the year, right? So if that's increasing, you have every, let's call it, right to do so, okay? But the most important thing is that it will maintain your margins so that you can reinvest, so you can stay alive, you can keep as much cash as possible in the bank to invest into your business, to grow it, to serve more customers, to do great for this world, which is why we're in business, okay? So that's the big picture of it. Price increases are necessary to stay in business and to continue to grow and contribute to the world, okay? So look, I hope this was valuable for you. Even just a reminder to increase prices, go ahead and do it, right? Don't just sit on the fence, document it, do your numbers, make sure you're comfortable with it, create a campaign, and then just go and execute it, knowing that everything can be reversible. It's a momentum builder within itself. It will get you some very significant sales. I don't know many other campaigns, in fact, that will get you faster sales with this with less effort, okay? So I hope this was valuable for you. If it was, I'd love a like, love a subscribe. And if there's anything else you want to know, you can drop a comment. I'm creating videos like this all the time, but regardless, loved having you on this channel in this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.